My name is Caroline Alden. I'm an atmospheric scientist and co-founder of LongPath Technologies. We provide scalable, quantitative, and continuous methane emissions monitoring for operations across the oil and natural gas supply chains. The goals of methane detection are, number one, to find and fix emissions quickly, and number two, to provide direct measurement of emissions, whether for valuation of RSG and ESG metrics or for regulatory purposes. To accomplish either, real-time emissions detection is needed across all sites and, due to the fat tail distribution of problematic emitters, continuously through time, and with the right thresholds of detection to be able to dynamically address both mitigation and emissions quantification needs. LongPath Technologies serves this need in a networked fashion that offers high-value monitoring for the industry for a very low cost. Our solution is based on Nobel Prize-winning dual-frequency comb laser spectroscopy that was jointly developed by the University of Colorado and NIST, coupled with inversion algorithms jointly developed by the University of Colorado and NOAA. We're the recipients of multiple Department of Energy ARPA-E grants, first to develop the tech and later to commercialize and scale. We're the only continuous monitoring solution that has published our blind validation testing results in the peer-reviewed literature. This means that there will be no surprises when it comes time for regulatory approvals and demonstrating quality control of monitoring and data. LongPath is out in the field with multiple E&P partners with monitoring of over 180 facilities by the end of 2021. We're poised for rapid scaling in 2022, both in terms of our financial backing and our production capabilities. I'm going to cover two important aspects of methane detection. First, why continuous monitoring is critical, and second, why the ability to quantify emissions with an appropriate threshold of detection is important. Emissions from oil and gas operations are fat-tailed, meaning that a few large and unpredictable fugitive events cause the bulk of overall emissions. The infrequent, unpredictable, and sometimes intermittent nature of these emissions means that spot check approaches to monitoring or measurement would need to occur with extremely high frequency to be effective. OGI visits and aircraft and satellite flybys can locate large leaks, but they lack the temporal context that can help operators diagnose issues. In particular, snapshot and time approaches can either miss or misinterpret intermittent events. Second, it's critically important to consider a technology's threshold for emissions detection. The scientific literature defines very large unintended emissions, or what the literature calls super emitter events, as greater than or equal to 26 kilograms per hour. Several major platforms out there right now for methane detection have thresholds that are not sensitive enough to see even these large events, much less offer a nuanced view of total emissions and how they might be changing through time. Blind tests and field data demonstrate LongPath's ability to identify emissions across the spectrum, from small to large leaks and vents. LongPath Technologies uses a single centralized node to deploy a laser spectrometer on a small tower. All power and communications occur at that one location. The laser is a dual frequency comb spectrometer, which gives part per billion precision measurements of the open atmosphere, currently up to distances of over 2.5 miles and growing. At each facility that we monitor, we post small retroreflective mirrors that are passive and require no power, communications, or maintenance. These retroreflectors can be placed on existing infrastructure or on small hydrovac poles on the periphery of pads. At the end of the day, what is delivered to the customer is continuous, time-resolved, real-time emission rates on a facility-by-facility basis. Also included is a smart automatic alerting system to notify the operator if problematic emissions do occur. The key differentiators of LongPath from other technologies are the following. First, what the system delivers is time-resolved emission rates, not concentration. This means that the operator does not need to perform any complicated interpretation of the data. Gas losses can be directly compared to gas production. Second, the emission rates are quantified, which means that emissions reductions and the confirmation of low emissions can be measured. Third, the solution is highly scalable. We're creating a network of coverage so that all operators can benefit from a low-cost point of entry into continuous monitoring. For example, dozens to hundreds of quantified rates from tens of thousands of continuous measurements can be obtained for the cost of one flyover visit. Fourth, we provide automated real-time streaming of data to the customer with automated alerts and no false positives to date with dynamic alert thresholds. And finally, we install and maintain everything, including cellular communications. And because of the lifetime warranty and zero maintenance for the customer, we're by far the lowest cost solution on the market. Finally, LongPath's continuous monitoring is the only peer-reviewed and third-party blind tested solution that's available. It's critically important that adoption of new methane detection tech can be predicated on sound science and transparency regarding methods and standards of deployment with independent third-party blind testing to demonstrate efficacy and validate metrics. During our testing at METEC, we monitored 30+ blinded leak scenarios in which we found all leaks greater than 5 SCFH with no false positives at that level. Over 90% of the controlled leaks were quantified to within 10 SCFH. We're happy to provide more info about how you can subscribe to our growing monitoring network. Please feel free to reach out directly to caroline.alden@longpathtech.com.